He loves the cheer, I promise. All right, Elvis. He is on the hunt. Oh, potty break first.
He's literally, oh, come on. He's supposed to be finding a stuffed koala, but first he went after snacks first. Coming out there.
All right, he's
there
on
he
the
goes.
hunt now. Okay, Elvis is looking for a lemon scent. That is what he is trained to find, so we'll see how quickly he finds it. I actually don't know where it is today, so let's see if he is on it.
We were here when it got hit.
Good job, buddy. That was very quick today. So hopefully you all see what Elvis found. That is a stuffed koala, and that koala represents some of our conservation efforts we have done in the past. So if anybody remembers those big mega fires of 2019 and 2020, where we were able to send over a koala sniffing dog named Smudge to help locate and rescue any injured koalas. Now, right here in our Southwest Conservation Hub, we have utilized a team of canines called the Frog Dog Team to help locate the endangered mountain yellow-legged frog. And now my favorite fact about that canine team is that one of the dogs is a Chihuahua mix. So it just goes to show any size canine can help out in conservation. Now, if you do not know Elvis, he's kind of a big deal around here. He is 9 years old. He is a half lab, half golden retriever. And before he came to live with us here at Wegeforth Bowl, he was training to be a guide dog with Guide Dogs of America. And now we don't like to say he failed that program, but he did not pass that program. This boy is very food motivated, so if anybody has a lab or golden at home, you might be able to relate. So Elvis does have an important job here at Wegeforth Bowl. He is a companion to a South African cheetah named Alunga. Would you all like to meet Alunga? All right, she is going to be making her way on out here. So if you are coming into our stadium, we just ask you quickly find the nearest seat so we can make sure she is nice and comfortable. Now, Alunga here is also 9 years old. She just had her birthday last week. So happy belated birthday to Alunga. So her and Elvis are the same age. Now, Alunga was born at our sister facility, the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, where she was the 159th cheetah born.
They spend more time there than
now,
here.
Unfortunately, she was the only surviving cub of her litter. And when that happens, ideally, if there is another cheetah cub to place them with, that would be the most ideal thing. But when that doesn't happen, sometimes we can fall back on canines, which happen to be the perfect opportunity for Alunga here. So they were paired together when they were both very young, between 6 and 7 months of age, and they have been living together ever since.
Kelly
so
and
Elvis
Ellie
really acts as a surrogate sibling to Alunga. So he teaches her all those social cues, how to play together, how to roughhouse together, all of those things she would learn from her litter mates. Now, they are together pretty much 24/7, except during feeding time. Because remember I said Elvis loves food? Yeah, he would steal all of her food and she would just let him. So, not the best situation for her, so we do separate them during feeding time. Now, you are looking at the fastest land mammal in the world. Does anybody know how fast a cheetah can run?
Eat them later, okay? Ah, sorry.
70.
55?
70.
45?
70.
70, I heard it. Anywhere between 60 to 70 miles per hour. So if you were on the freeway, hopefully going the speed limit, you can look out your window and imagine a cheetah running right there next to you. It is quite incredible. Now, they can't hold those speeds for very long. It's typically going to be a short burst of 20 to 30 seconds. And what is very unique about that is they can go from 0 to 60 in just over 3 seconds. It is quite amazing. Now, everything about the cheetah is built for that speed. Their entire bodies are built completely differently than other cats. In fact, even though she is a large cat, she is technically not part of the big cat family. Now, if you take a good look at her, she has a nice, long, lean body, a very small aerodynamic head, and her feet and tail are also quite unique as well. So if you're able to take a good look at her claws, sometimes we have a video up here, if it's up there, her claws are built differently than other cats. Cheetahs have what's called semi-retractable claws, meaning their claws are going to hang out all the time. So if you're thinking about other cats like a lion or maybe even your house cat, they're able to retract those claws in to keep them nice and sharp. Cheetahs do not have that ability. Those claws are going to be out all the time to help with traction, similar to like an athlete's cleats. Now you are getting a good look at her tail. She has a very long tail that is about half the length of her body, and it's actually a very interesting shape. So it's not completely circular. It's actually a little bit flat on both sides, kind of like a hockey stick, and that is going to help her turn when she is going those top speeds. So similar to like a rudder on a boat. Now, along with that, inside she has a very long and flexible spine. In fact, when cheetahs are at their full speed, one stride, meaning all 4 feet off the ground, and they can reach up to 20 feet in one stride. It is very impressive. Now, we do have a lot of spotted cats around the zoo, so if you're ever not sure about what type of cat you are looking at, you can just look at their face. So cheetahs have 2 black lines that go from the inner corners of their eyelid down to their mouth. Those are called malar stripes. Sometimes we jokingly say they're the Serengeti sunglasses, but that's exactly what they're there for. They are to help with the glare of the sun because, believe it or not, cheetahs are daytime hunters. And they do this to avoid conflicts with other predators such as hyenas, lions, because the cheetah is very small, right? They are not built for fighting. They are built for that speed. So they want to do everything they can to avoid conflicts with other predators and to hopefully be able to keep their prey. Now, cheetahs have disappeared from huge areas of their historic range. About 100 years ago, we had maybe around 100,000 cheetahs. Today, there are less than 7,000 left in the entire world. So they are facing a lot of hardships, such as habitat loss and human-wildlife conflict. So just by coming to the zoo today, you are directly supporting conservation work for the cheetahs, so we thank you. Now with that, it seems like our dynamic duo is gonna head on home. Let's give it up for Elvis and Alunga. They did great out here. All right, everyone, for our next couple ambassadors, I'm actually gonna hand things over to my co-care specialist. Please welcome out Raina.
Thanks, Tony. Let's give it up for Tony, everybody, one more time. Oh, yeah. We still got plenty of friends to meet. And our next friend, as we started, we're going to be going back to that One Health approach to saving species worldwide, which of course means that we are all connected all over the planet. And this next friend represents this by being an apex predator. And she is an apex predator of the sky, covered head to toe in feathers. She's also chatty. This is Einstein, the Eurasian eagle owl. She had a lot to say most days.
Don't come closer.
She is a lovely older lady. She is about 26 years old, and she is quite stunning. So I'll break down that name for us. Eurasian tells us where these beautiful raptors can be found all throughout parts of Europe and Asia as well. And then eagle owl does not signify that she is an eagle owl hybrid, but tells us that this is one of the largest species of owl in the world. And as Tony does bring her around, I'd love to hear some guesses about how much we think Einstein weighs. What do we think, everybody? Shout them out. 25.
5.
55.
Just 5.
105.
5.
500.
5.
Well, I mean, Tony's really strong, but she's a whopping 5 pounds. I think I heard it. But she is quite stunning. So you got to think, what do birds have to be able to do? They have to be able to fly long distances in order to find prey, and they have a lot of adaptations in order to stay nice and light. One, of course, being those beautiful feathers that go all the way down to those extremely strong talons that are said to be able to pierce a human skull. So that's why
Chatty girl today.
But feathers are nice and light. Her bones are also especially adapted for being nice and light as well, because they look kind of like a sponge on the inside, nice and aerated, allowing her to stay up high and stay aerodynamic as well. Some of the things that we might have noticed first when seeing Einstein are those little tufts on the top of her head. Those are called ear tufts, but that's not all where her ears are located. Her ears are actually located asymmetrically on either side of her skull, which allows her to triangulate sound. So she can tell exactly where a sound is coming from and exactly what it is. It's said that owls can hear a mouse's heartbeat under about a foot of snow, so really impressive. Another very impressive superpower that owls have is going to be their eyesight. So they have amazing eyesight. Their eyes are huge and beautiful, but that's actually the smallest part of Einstein's eye that is visible to us right now. The rest of her eyeballs are going to be located within her skull. They are shaped kind of like an old school light bulb. So we're seeing the screeny part at the end, and then those bulbs are going to be back within, which means they are set in place. They can't move their eyes left and right like we can, and that is why they have to move their neck all the way around. They can't go all the way around, not 360 degrees, or their head would fall off, but it's pretty close. So still very impressive, and they do have about double the vertebrae that we have in order to be able to do that. So that's very impressive as well. It said that owls would be able to read a newspaper from the other side of a football field day or night. So that's two of those superpowers, that amazing hearing and also that amazing eyesight, but that's not it. That's not all the superpowers they have. They also have another one. So 3 superpowers is kind of crazy. The next one is pretty impressive. They have the superpower of silent flight. And the way that this works is pretty special. I'm sure we're all geniuses here. We've seen tons of feathers in our day. Well, if you've seen, many feathers have all their filaments Velcro together, so they look something like that. And if you move your hands really fast, you can hear a little bit of air resistance there. When you go to owls, they actually have what looks like split ends at the end of their feathers, so it kind of looks like this. And if you move your hands really quickly, you won't hear anything. Their wind passes straight through, and that is how they are able to sneak up on their prey, moving completely silently, which is very impressive and very important because they don't have much room for a brain within that skull with those giant eyeballs. So they got to be able to do what they do very well. And we are thankful for that, because without our raptors and our amazing reptiles, we would be up to our waist in rodents in no time. So we want to make sure that we are taking care of our beautiful raptors. If you want to include lots of owls around your neighborhood, implement some owl boxes, and that'll allow them to come on closer to you. But let's give it up for Einstein and Tony. They did a great job on out here.
Yay!
All right. And so for our next friend, we are going to be staying in that What Health approach to saving species worldwide, but switching gears a little bit. I know that we talked about the fact that Einstein is a hunter of rodents, but the next we're actually going to be meeting a rodent. And he's kind of a big deal. He's actually the species that's the second largest rodent in all of North America. Living here in California for most of my life, I've never really seen one of these until I started working here. But little did I know, they were going to be one of my favorite animals. This is a North American porcupine, and this is Dakota. He's pretty special. He just turned about 1.5, so he's still kind of a baby. Baby porcupines are called porcupets, and they do have the cutest little faces you ever did see. It is going into winter time, so he's slowing down a little bit, starting to take
time
a little
there than
bit more
here.
rest, eating a lot more food, getting a lot rounder. He does look very fluffy, and he is fluffy in his own right, but he is covered in about 30,000 quills all over his body. So what we're seeing right now are those guard hairs on the outside. Underneath is going to be where all those quills are located, and the back is the business end. So I know that we've heard a lot that they can shoot their quills. This isn't necessarily true, so front row, you're not in the splash zone for the quills, but they are very loosely attached. They're made of the same thing that our hair and nails are made out of, which is called keratin, and they are hollow on the inside. And in regards to our North American friends here, they are not super long. They're only about 2 to 3 inches in length, and they have barbs at the end. So microscopic barbs that work their way into the skin at about 1 millimeter per minute. So very important to get these quills out. And you can imagine, as a predator without opposable thumbs would be very difficult. And you learn very quickly not to mess with a porcupine. So if your dog or your friend ever comes in contact with a porcupine, definitely be careful. They can only move about 2 miles per hour at maximum, so you can probably outrun them. I would just hightail it the other way, not bother them. They are lead rodents, so they don't have the best of eyesight, but they do have very stunning teeth. They also have those beautiful noses. Porcupine noses kind of look like a little pig nose, it's pretty cute. Their teeth are nice and orange. You might be able to see it in the B-roll here when Dakota was a tiny baby. They are nice and orange, which allows them to be super strong because they have a coating of iron on the outside, because this is their tool pretty much for everything. They are going to be primarily spending their time up in the trees, which is where they're going to be getting their food, which is the inner membrane of that wood called the cambium, which is where they're going to get most of their nutrients. And so that's why they need those long teeth that are also ever growing. So they're going to be growing for their entire lives, because they need to be able to chew and grind down that wood, which is very important for them, because they are what's called ecosystem engineers. By moving and knocking down trees, they are able to create new habitats for new organisms to inhabit, which is very important, even though they're kind of seen as something that we don't quite understand, maybe even something that we don't really want in our backyards. Of course, every single individual animal and species has their own important role within the ecosystem, and let me tell you, they're pretty cute, so we're very lucky to share him with you. He also has a pretty interesting story here at the zoo, Dakota in particular. He is a pretty big deal around here. He was actually the first ever North American porcupine born through C-section, which I'll tell you a little bit about. So his mom, her name is Maisie, and she lives over at our children's zoo, over near Base Camp Explorers, and his dad came over from Texas. As you've heard, everything's bigger in Texas, so he was very big, large porcupine. He's kind of small. She needed a little bit of extra help. When Dakota was getting born, our vet staff noticed that it was taking a long time for Dakota to make his way into the world. Porcupines, or porcupets I should say, are born with all of their quills, and they do start to harden as soon as they hit air, oxygen in particular. So we noticed it was taking a while and she needed a little bit of extra help, so our vet staff stepped in, and now mom and baby are both doing great. Because Maisie was healing, we needed our amazing NACI team to step in and take care of Dakota from a really young age, and that allowed him to be an amazing ambassador and step into that role nice and early. And he's been doing a great job of showing off his amazing quills and letting us educate everyone about their really interesting species that many of us here in California and San Diego in particular haven't seen much in person. So let's give it up for Dakota. He did a great job on it. Maybe he wants to stay out. That's okay.
Exactly the last time we tried to
All right. So the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance is committed to saving species all over the world, and we are creating a world where all life is thriving. We are doing this by utilizing our hundreds of years of amazing experience and allowing all of our wildlife and people and communities all over the globe to thrive. We are so thankful that all of you came out and learned today about our wildlife here. I hope you learned something that inspires you to take action, and I hope you have a great rest of your day here at the world famous San Diego Zoo. Thanks everyone for coming out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And that's it.
Well, I wish they stayed for